And my dad planted trees here when my sisters was born, and they're still here. They're 80-some years old.
So
Pecan trees.
All those trees out there.
4 pecan trees are here yet, and they're pretty big now. But they never was blowed over or cut down or anything. Preserving them.
Yeah. So back to, you said you had been married for 10 years whenever you started building this house.
Yes.
How many kids did you have at that point?
We had all of them except Tom, your dad, was born while we was building the house.
Okay, so how was that?
His footprint is in, we put it in one of the steps over here in the concrete.
Nice.
Yeah, he was the last one then.
Okay. So how much of the house did you have left to build when he came along?
Well, the main part we had done, but the other one, it was a bad winter that winter, and the carpenters couldn't get here to get it finished in the winter, so that's why I drug over to the next summer. We finally got the old house completed. Okay. In the winter we had a hot water heat, and the one heat register was kind of outside, and we had to cover it up, keep it from freezing, keep them not so it had hot water or heat in the rest of the house.
So was that pretty tough was that a tough time to work all that out? And
yeah, it was. I said then I don't want to build another house. One was enough. That's a pretty trying time when you got to keep everything going and build a house too. Yeah. And that you fried that down and put it in the pig lard then to preserve it, because we didn't have deep freezes right away.
So
I never grew up with electricity. Then it was in 1950 when we got electricity out here on the farm.
And let's see. So did you have just like an ice chest before, or like you said you used pig lard, and
that's what that cellar was for.
Okay.
We could kind of keep vegetables and stuff cool in there.
Cool. Okay.
Because it was down in the ground, it usually held about 50. Oh, in the summertime, maybe it'd get over 60 degrees in there.
Okay. And so, like you talked about taking loans out now, were loans available back then?
Yes, but you had to pay 6% interest was the going rate, usually back then, on everything pretty well. But I mean, we borrowed money back then too, but nothing like now. You could buy land back then for $100 an acre was a pretty big price. Now they're talking $3,000 to $4,000 for the same acre. What was $100 back then? Things were just different, slower, and seemed like, I mean, you had more time in the early years than what you got now. Seemed like, I don't know, but there's still 24 hours in a day.
Yeah. Same amount of time, you just are expected to fit more in, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel like technology or anything has a big impact on that?
Well, I mean, the technology is these computers and all that. Now we got equipment where you can put it in a tractor and it shows you where you've been and where to go, and even it'll drive the tractor itself. But where we live, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by a little creek, and the fields are not square, and if you got good square fields and level ground, why they'll probably work good. But here we're on hillsides and got trees and woods around, and when you go under a tree, why they kind of lose their
Their GPS.
yeah, the GPS don't